8 months ago, I made a video on someone named Nagito Kamaida. Yes, that was the YouTube name. Because he was shitting on specifically women using the term gay to describe themselves, and was also being blatantly misogynistic. They later changed their user to Punk Pup and made a terrible video on the Neko Koda and Shaggy situation, spreading blatant misinformation. And I also covered that video. In November of 2022, he made a Twitter account by the name of FernCloud to essentially be an MG hate account. He's the one who made this absolutely laughable thread. Sigh, if only gay people were real. Then I found this video by him, and it's laughably bad, as well as homophobic, and of course uses turf arguments. But are we really surprised? Come on, are we really expecting the guy who said that making jokes about gay people not being real was homophobic, and the guy who said that drawing gay men in dresses was problematic to have more than one brain cell? Oh, and of course he's an exclusionist. Who could have fucking guessed? If his video being misogynistic and homophobic towards gay women and his post implying that feminine gay men were harmful wasn't proof enough for you. Let's finally begin.
The misuse of labels in the queer community. For the first topic of today, we're talking about demi-boy lesbians. To note, I am only talking about labels and terms that do affect me, because I am a demi-boy gay, so...
He is lying here! He talks about bi lesbians in this video, and he is not bi, nor a lesbian. Also, the labels being talked about here do not affect you because you aren't the one using them. I know this video is meant to paint people's personal identity as being your problem, but seriously, it isn't. Fuck off.
Yeah, let's get into that. Sorry for that pause. Demi-boy is a gender identity that partially identifies as a boy or a man and partially as non-binary. The Wikipedia, like actual Wikipedia, the LGBTQ wiki, the gender wiki, and the non-binary wiki all support this claim. If you look up demi-boy on any of those platforms, they will give you the definition of, partially being a man, partially being non-binary.
Something I want to bring up is that demi-gender people are not all the same. Some demi-boys feel more like a boy than non-binary, some vice versa. So where's the stopping point? When are you too man to be a lesbian? You think non-binary lesbians are valid, but not all non-binary people identify exactly in the middle. And demi-boy is under the non-binary umbrella. And we all know that gender isn't just a bunch of labels, it's a spectrum. So I repeat, where is the stopping point? When does the snake decide it's full?
You might not know about this term, but there's another term called demi-mask, which is similar to demi-boy, but there's one major difference. Demi-mask partially identify their gender is partially masculine. They're not inherently a male, so if they're a demi-mask and they're lesbian, completely valid. There is a flag for demi-mask, and they're similar with demi-boy, but the demi-boy flag has... I just got a weird Discord notification. Anyways, the demi-boy flag has a white stripe in the middle, and the demi-mask flag has a blue stripe in the middle. I will put up the flags in my video to show the difference more.
Who in their right mind thought, hey, let's design a pride flag by stealing another one, but let's flip two colors around. That won't be confusing at all.
Again, major difference between demi-boy and demi-mask is demi-boys partially identify as men, and demi-mask partially identifies masculine.
Okay, I have a hypothetical situation for you. What if there were two people, both identified as lesbians, both were on testosterone and dressed very masculinely? They both express themselves pretty much the same way, but one identifies as demi-mask while one identifies as a demi-boy. Would it really be moral to go up to just one and say, hey, you aren't valid as a lesbian. Your internal gender identity is offending me and lesbians. How dare you? While the other one is let to go about their day. Or would you condemn both of them? Maybe the other one is too masculine and would make lesbians uncomfortable in lesbian spaces. Oh, then a non-binary lesbian walks in. They're assigned male at birth, and they have some facial hair. Well, that could also make lesbians uncomfortable. Oh, wow, we've got to condemn them too. Oh, what about a butch lesbian? They're cisgender, but oh no, look, they look too much like a man. It's scaring the lesbians. Oh no, a trans lesbian. She has a dick. No lesbian would be attracted to a dick. Disgusting. See how it escalates? Exclusionism will come for you, even if you don't realize it. Exclusionism harms non-binary lesbians, trans lesbians, butch lesbians, and so many others. And the fact that you don't realize it yet is laughable.
Lesbianism is a male exclusionary identity. No male-aligned identity can be a lesbian, and lesbians cannot be attracted to male-aligned people.
What about gender fluid lesbians? Some of them do identify masculinely at times, and some even call themselves trans-masc.
Lesbians don't like men. That is simply what that means.
But not all demi-boys identify as men. Some are very close to being in the middle and wouldn't exactly call themselves a boy or a man.
Demi boys are partially non-binary, so like if they can be lesbians, no, we cannot. No, 100% no. We partially identify as men. We are male aligned. We are a male aligned identity. We cannot be lesbians.
Demi-boys can't be lesbians because you said so? Oh, okay then.
Demi boys can be straight.
Again, just because you fucking said so.
But if you are a gay boy and you don't want to identify as such, you can identify as gynosexual, which is the attraction to women regardless of one's own gender.
Gyno refers to the female sex, not women. The term specifically excludes trans women and includes trans men. Dumbass. Gynosexual is a very outdated term and works better as a genital preference, not a sexual orientation.
It is, I guess you could say, an umbrella term for any identity that likes women.
No, it's not.
And on that topic, demigirl gays. Whew, okay, anyways.
I hope you were thinking about me when you said that. My identity lives rent-free in your head for real.
This is pretty much the same argument as before. Demigirl is a gender identity that partially identifies as being a woman or a girl. Demifemme is which is a cannot speak. Demifemme is a partially feminine gender identity, while demigirls are a partially girl identity, a female identity. Partially female identity. Gay is a female exclusionary identity.
Then why the fuck is a lesbian defined as a gay woman?
No female-aligned identity can be gay, and no gay person can be attracted to female-aligned people.
If gay people can't be attracted to female-aligned people, then why do I find women so hot?
Since demigirls are a female-aligned identity, they cannot be gay, and it's homophobic to do so.
If that's the case, then I'm one proud homophobe.
And as a lesbophobic, say demiboys can be lesbians. It's saying men can be lesbians and lesbians can like men, and it's saying gays can like women, and women can be gay. Which, the entire use of gay being used as an umbrella term, it's a whole other video. I have made a video about it.
Yeah, and it was absolutely fucking vile, and you should be genuinely ashamed of yourself for making it.
And I might remake it, because it was kind of short, and I should probably go more into detail about it.
Please don't.
So, it was also a response video to someone, so
I wonder who that person was.
I'm more focused on responding to them than explaining my point, which I did explain my point very well, I think.
Wait, you're being serious?
But it won't hurt to go back and revisit it and redo it. Anyways, demigirls can be straight, but if you don't want to identify as such, you can identify as androsexual, which is the attraction to men regardless of one's own gender. Yeah. Anyways, the next point we're talking about, this one is so aggravating. Bisexual gays.
That's how I identify. Now, I'm not a bisexual, homosexual, or bisexual Vincian, obviously, but I do use the term gay by its umbrella term meaning, and I call myself gay pretty often, so this part'll be fun.
I'm gonna give you a moment to let that sink in. They are bisexual and homosexual.
Nobody really identifies as bisexual or homosexual, and even if they did, who fucking cares? I believe you're referring to bisexual homoromantic or biromantic homosexual, which isn't that fucking hard to digest, especially since you think aro-ace lesbians are valid.
I do not understand how that works.
I don't fucking care. Maybe educate yourself instead of invalidating other people because you don't agree with them. Fuck off.
Who in their right mind thinks, yeah, you can be bisexual and gay. You can totally be both of them. This is not Pokemon.
Pretty ironic coming from you. Also, the fact that you think xenogenders and neopronouns are valid, but you say shit like this is insane. Like, I support xenos and neos too, don't get me wrong. But that's because I'm not a fucking exclusionist who puts a limit on how many identities you can have at once. Because that's exactly what you're doing with this oh so clever, this isn't Pokemon bullshit. It is literally a running joke in the xenogender community to collect as many xenos and neos as possible, yet you're completely fine with that, but not fine with, like, somebody having two sexuality labels? Like, what?
You don't gotta catch them all. You can't catch them all. Like, you cannot be, oh my god. You cannot be two sexual orientations at once.
So, fuck demisexuals, I guess? No, I'm serious. Demisexual is an identity that only specifies when you gain attraction to a person. So realistically, a demisexual may also identify with another sexual identity. This obviously also applies to demiromantic as well.
You cannot stack them like that. They are not stackable like that. No. What? Like, you can be aro-ace and gay, and aro-ace and bisexual.
So wait, you can be aromantic, asexual, and bisexual at the same time. You know, Punk Pup, I'm seeing more than one sexual orientation in that list.
But that is not the same as being bisexual and gay.
It quite literally is the same thing. Both still stack two sexual identities. What are you talking about?
How does that work? How the hell does that work? What the fuck does that mean? Anyways, you cannot be bisexual and gay.
Because you said so.
You cannot be pansexual and gay. You cannot be any of that. Like I said, you cannot stack them on top of each other like that. That's not how it works.
Am I the only one who's, like, genuinely disturbed by the genuine hatred he's showing towards these people? Like, seriously, it's so disturbing how exclusionists will turn against their own community at the drop of a hat. He hates feminine gay men, he hates gay women, he hates basically any queer identity that he personally doesn't approve of. This is like genuine bigotry we're witnessing, and it's uncomfortable to sit through.
You can have a strong preference for men and be bisexual. You can have a strong preference for men and be omnisexual. But you still like women to some extent. Gay is not a or situation kind of thing. Like, it's if you identify as gay, if you say you are gay, that means you do not like women at all.
Because you are the only one who can decide what people want to identify as. Go fuck yourself.
That is why. Like, no one says lesbians can like men. So why can you say gay people can like women? Well, people do say lesbians can like men, but everyone, like, jumps on their ass and be like, that's homophobic, which it very much is. It's very much homophobic.
No, it isn't. Shut the fuck up. You haven't made any attempt to prove that any of the shit you're saying is homophobic is actually homophobic. Shut up.
And more specifically, lesbophobic, even though homophobic it includes lesbianism, because homophobic.
Great! You know what prefixes mean. Now go learn what gyno means.
Which, whatever. But, it's weird. It's also disgusting.
Well, I think it's disgusting how you're being a dick just because you personally dislike a label.
You say you're gay, but you like women. Like I said before, gay is a female exclusionary identity.
You know, maybe it's not that the term gay is female exclusionary. Maybe it's the fact that you are female exclusionary.
You cannot be a woman and be gay, and you cannot be gay and like women.
Gay people can't like women? Huh, that's weird. Then why did you claim my OC Phaon was gay on your FernCloud Twitter account when he's actually unlabeled demisexual? His identity does not exclude women. So, really, going by the 2 screenshots you showed to prove that I feminized gay men or whatever, I only feminized one gay man.
That is not what gay is. And it's homophobic to say so. And I know what I'm about to say is used a lot to be an actual bigot.
Here we fucking go. Oh, and you are using it to be an actual bigot. Don't sugarcoat your actions.
But if you're bisexual and gay, if you say you are both of those, you make the community look like a joke.
Oh my fucking god. Okay, punk pup, let's go through the things you personally support. Non-binary people? Pfft, there's no third gender. How dare you make trans people look bad by identifying this way? You make us look like a joke. Xenos and Neos? Pfft, I'm not gonna call you kitty self. That's so fucking stupid. You make our community look like a joke. Trans people? You can't change your gender. You make us gay people look like a joke. You, as a gay man, should know better to not use flawed arguments that are used against queer and trans people every fucking day. Because frankly, I couldn't give less of a shit what cishet people think of our community. And I don't give a flying fuck about what your stupid, exclusionist ass has to say about identities that do not harm you or anyone. Fuck off.
You make the queer community look like a joke. Because this isn't like, oh yeah, your completely valid identity that I personally do not agree with, which it's not even that, it's not an agree, disagree kind of thing, but whatever is invalid and makes the community look like a joke. It's not that. It's not the, my little feelings got hurt, I do not like your identity, I'm going to say you make the community look like a joke.
That is exactly what this is. That is fucking exactly what this video is. The LGBT exclusionist community is not your friend. Exclusionists will come for everyone eventually, including you. You do not get to decide what identities are not valid based on your arbitrary fucking standards. And that is honestly the main lesson in this video. You do not decide what people can and can't identify as.
It's you honestly are being harmful to community and make us look bad.
How the fuck is it harmful? You literally have not explained it yet.
And make us look stupid and make us look like a joke. Because bisexual gays is like bisexual straights. If you saw a girl, right? She's bisexual, but she has a heavy preference for men. And she said, I'm bisexual straight because I just like men more. That's so ignorant and stupid.
Who fucking cares if one girl decides I'm bisexual straight? Who fucking cares? It does not harm me, it doesn't harm you, it doesn't harm anyone.
Honestly, what? I'm sorry, but even if we're talking about straight people, which I understand that a lot of the community do not like straight people, which is honestly kind of stupid. Like, out of jokes. Like, obviously, like, haha, straight people, you're basic, haha. Jokes, honest jokes. But there are people who seriously believe that, straight people are horrible. Straight people are horrible. In which, yeah, majority of homophobes are straight.
And you, my friend, are living proof that not every homophobe is straight. And that not every misogynist is cis, but, you know, I covered that in my last video on you.
Are not queer at all themselves. But what about these people that are in our own community doing this kind of shit?
That is exactly how I feel about exclusionists. Most of them are literal bigots, pointing at the sheep with less fur, hoping to God they can stall the wolf long enough to escape. But guess what? They never do. The wolf eats both of them because the wolf doesn't give a shit. In this comic, the wolf is representing cishet bigots, and the sheep with less fur are the people getting excluded. The other sheep are the exclusionists. See what I'm getting at here?
Is that not homophobic to you at all? If you hate homophobia so bad that you would say you hate all straight people because they're homophobes, what you also say about these people? You hate all homophobes? I don't know, I'm just going on a weird little rant.
I have no fucking idea what point you were trying to make there.
Tangent thing going on, but where was I at? Oh yeah, you make the community joke, because honestly, I know this point is used a lot to, like, for genuine bigotry.
Which is exactly what you're using it for. Like, I'm being serious here. The fact that you consciously thought and then said out loud the fact that this is an argument that is used for genuine bigotry which you do not support, yet you thought, you know, this argument is totally valid to use against this group of people I don't like. It's fucking insane. Like, you have some insane bias. Like,
Like they say, oh, non-binary people make the community look a joke. Pansexual people make the community... Who just barked? Anyways, like they say, pansexual people make the community look a joke. Xenogenders, all that kind of shit. They're like, oh, you make us look like a joke. I'm pretty sure bisexual, homosexual people make us look more like a joke than people going, yeah, my gender feels like a dog.
Coming from a completely unbiased perspective, I can assure you that is not true. But guess fucking what? I don't base the validity of identities on what cishets think of them. Isn't that like the opposite of listening to queer voices or whatever you were preaching in your video on me?
Like, honestly. And I know. The main issue with this, like I said, this video is about the misuse of labels in the community. This is the major one of misusing labels in the community, because this technically is a valid identity, but the issue is the way you're using labels. Because if you said bisexual, homo, romantic, that's valid. Bisexual with a preference for a certain gender, perfectly fine. But the issue comes from the continuous misuse of labels and the homophobia that is dragged along with that misuse. Because you aren't just misusing a label and causing no harm. You're misusing a label and bringing tons of harm, because you, by using that label, you were saying gay people can like women, which also furthers the narrative that gay people need to find the right woman to be straight.
You aren't making any kind of general statement about an identity by simply personally using that identity to describe yourself. Oh my fucking god, shut the fuck up. Oh yeah, I would also like to mention that this logic can be used to also shit on bisexuals, and I wouldn't be surprised if it has been used to shit on bisexuals.
Or lesbians need to find the right men to be straight, you know? Because we've been told this constantly by homophobes, because, you know, the entire just find the right person to be straight kind of thing is a major thing about them. They're like, you need to be straight, and you just believe you're gay because you haven't found the right woman, you know? You aren't intentionally, I don't believe people are intentionally furthering this harmful narrative, but they still are. And even using simple logic and not going into this deep stuff, using simple logic, how the hell do you think people are going to react when you say you're bisexual and gay?
How the hell do you think people are going to react when you say you're dog gender or that you use kitty/kitty self? That's what I thought. Also, I cannot stress enough how disgusting how vile this argument is towards people who have gotten hate crimed for coming out, who have got disowned for coming out, who have got verbally abused for coming out. You are fucking disgusting if you think that validity of identities is determined by what your peers think. I'm glad that you were lucky enough to not have those kinds of reactions to coming out, but not everyone is so fucking lucky. Go fuck yourself. Oh, and that exact fear is exactly what keeps gay and trans people in the fucking closet.
How do you think people are going to react to that? What are your thoughts? It doesn't matter if it's what you're comfortable with.
How about I force you into a label you don't like and see how you fucking like it? You've been misgendered before. You've been mistaken for something you aren't before. You talked about it on Twitter in your last video. That's how these people feel when pricks like you break them down with these recycled homophobic arguments. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this. This is the hill I will die on. The second us as a community, as the LGBTQ community, makes people feel unsafe in their identities, that is when we have failed as a community. And that is why exclusionism has no place in our community.
Because people use that excuse a lot of the time to excuse bigotry. They'll say, I'm not comfortable with gay people being around my kids. Would you think that's okay? No, because it's blatant homophobia.
That's not even close to the same thing.
But it's okay to say gay people can like women by saying you're bisexual and gay. And you saying you're gay and you like women. That's not okay because you're queer?
Some people in the LGBT community don't like the term queer being used as an umbrella term because of its past history of being a homophobic slur. But I don't think you're ready for that conversation.
That's not okay because you are in the LGBTQ plus community? I genuinely do not understand a lot of people.
I, as well as the other people you're excluding, don't fucking care if you don't understand. Wanna know what I don't understand? Why you give a shit.
When it comes to this, how can you defend this? How can you look at bisexual lesbians or bisexual gays and be like, yeah, there's no issue with this label. There's no issue with it. It's perfectly fine. Yeah, I understand that it implies that lesbians can like men and gays can like women, but it's completely fine.
It implies that. It doesn't imply shit. Shut up.
It's completely fine. No, the fuck it's not. It is not at all perfectly fine. It's homophobia.
Because of vague reasons I refuse to properly explain.
Blatant homophobia. That is simply what it is. And I don't even think anyone seriously identifies as bi and gay. I think it's a bait thing. I think it's bait.
Then why did you spend the time to make this video?
Because I don't think anyone in their right mind goes, yeah, I'm bisexual and homosexual. Well, I'm bisexual and gay. It's the misuse of labels. The simple misuse of labels.
You care so much about definitions until you remember non-binary lesbians exist. Then you all of a sudden don't care about definitions. By your logic, non-binary lesbians do not exist because, fun fact, the official definition of the word lesbian does not include non-binary people. But guess what? Definitions aren't everything, which means who fucking cares if a non-binary person decides, you know, I want to identify as a lesbian. Like, that isn't harming anyone. Yeah, it is misusing the label, but it's not harming anyone, and it's totally fine to stretch out a definition to be more inclusive to a certain kind of person. But of course, definitions always matter unless you're a non-binary lesbian in that very, very specific case. But if you're not a non-binary lesbian, you have to follow the exact definition. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And I already mentioned in my bi lesbians video that technically, if you read into the definition does support bi lesbians, the definition of lesbian, so, you know.
Is what causes this massive homophobia.
Of course, you're just gonna blame this group of people for, bigotry. Where have I heard that before? That's a very similar way of thinking, that there's a group of people out there that do the same thing. What are they called again?
And this is why labels have definitions.
Unless you're a non-binary lesbian, of course. In that specific case, we can just let it slide. We're at the end of the video! Yay! I guess my final thoughts would be that there are sexualities that are genuinely harmful to the LGBTQ community, which, maps. Yeah, maps. The biggest example. Why? Because they actively harm children. But these people were excluding being like bi lesbians and fucking demi-boy lesbians and other people like that. That is not doing any good for the LGBT community. In fact, it is actively harming the community, and it is making the community an unsafe place. People should be able to come out as gay or as trans and come out as whatever they feel comfortable with, and they should not be getting excluded by their own community, because when we, the LGBTQ community, start using the same arguments that were used against us to put down other people, we are not any fucking better than the homophobes. I guess the last thing to say is, buy my commissions, link in the description, and, buy my adoptables, also link in the description. They're both at the very bottom of the description. That's all I have to say. Goodbye. Oh, and, I hope you like the art.